In this video, I want to share with you how to pick a life coaching niche. How to pick a life coaching niche. And I'm going to be using a case study for this so that you can understand the process and understand how I do this when I do this with my clients. So for this example, I've decided to use this account on YouTube. Her name is Ruri, and I'm going to be basing all of my assumptions and um, all of the ideas that I'm going to pull out for her based on our YouTube channel. So this is, if she wants to go in the direction of life coaching, this is what I'm going to do, or this is what I'm going to pull out for someone like that. Now, the process that I use is called the clarity wheel process, and there are 3 steps to it. There's the brain dump, which is something that the clients will have to do themselves. Then there is this part, which is the analysis part, and then there's the calling part. And so those are the 3 steps. But for this one, this is the only, because I don't know this person personally, and I'm just using R as an example here so that you all can learn, everybody can learn from it and see how it goes, and you can be able to extract, and hopefully maybe you can do this by yourself, for yourself, to be able to extract the value and the niche that you really serve, and you can really make a whole difference and make a big significance in your life and in the life of the people that you serve. So I'm going to use Ruri as a life coaching case study right here. Now, I'm not sure if she wants to go in that direction, but I'm just going to make that assumption that she is my client in this case, and we want to use our content, want to leverage our content to build a kind of coaching business on top of that. Now, if Ruri is watching, I hope you don't mind, because I'm using your content right now and your brand right now, so I hope you don't mind that. So let's get right into it. Now, the first thing, one of the things that I look for, one of the things that I focus on when doing these kinds of things is stereotype and uniqueness. Now, everybody says that, oh, stereotypes doesn't matter and things like that, but we all judge people based on our first impressions, and the first impression is based on stereotype. And because when you see someone, the first thing your brain does is to compare that person you see to everybody else you've seen in your life. So if someone looks like someone who has treated you bad in the past, you immediately have second thoughts about that person being a good person, and things like that. It goes on. We all look at things from a perspective of relativity, and that is also very important when it comes to personal branding. And that is very important, very great. Now, one of the reasons that I picked Ruri as an example is because she is very unique, at least when it comes to the kind of content that she makes. I think she's the only one that makes these kinds of content that I know that is like this, that is so different, because most of the other people are like extroverted, excited, they want to share something, they have this extroverted character and this kind of expressive extravagance of themselves. You see them with their thumbnails being excited and doing facial expressions that showcases excitement. But Ruri is the almost like the exact opposite, which she does. Her faces are most likely kind of dull or something like that, and she actually nails it. And even when you watch her videos, she just keeps that vibe consistently, and you know that this is something that has to actually do with her personality, which is very great, which is very unique, at least for making that kind of content. And this is one of the reasons why I picked her for this example, because it's easy for me to see that uniqueness and that difference very easily, and then we can build something based off of that. So one of the first things you must note when you are in the business of coaching, or you're in the business of life coaching, or you are in some form of online content business whatsoever, is that your uniqueness matters. So your uniqueness is going to get you people to follow you. The question is, why do they follow you and not someone else? There are some people who give great information, you get the information from them, but then when it comes to following, you go follow someone else that's followable. And one of the reasons why someone is followable is because they're unique. You see something in them that's in yourself and things like that. So that is very important for you to be unique. So we are going to do the analysis of Ruri and the kinds of offers she should be doing if she wants to go in this direction, and what kind of business and the niche that would be most perfect for her, at least from my perspective, from a life coaching perspective. Now, let's do the analysis of our personal brand. And this is my score. This is the way I'm going to rate Ruri on this. Now, I didn't just go on YouTube to pick Ruri out of random. This is someone I follow. This is someone I'm subscribed to a channel, and I did subscribe to a channel because I wanted to do this video. I'm subscribed to a channel because I found it, and I found it interesting. I find art interesting, and that's why I subscribed. And as you can see from some of the videos, recent videos that she had, you can see that I watched some of them to a certain length and a certain extent. So I do watch her videos. I've seen quite a number of them, and that gives me enough information because I want to have information, but not too much. So that gives me enough information to have an idea of, oh, what is the brand of this lady all about? So this is how I would rate our brand for our face, because sometimes people say, oh, these things don't matter, but it really does matter. So for our face, because you see our face in all our thumbnails, and our brand is basically built around that. If you see our videos, you see that she's just on camera talking, and our scripting is really good also, by the way. So for our face and the way she communicates that our message, I give her a 98% because it's very good. She plays to our stereotype, and that made her very, very unique. So when it comes to face, it's just about being unique, and because her face is a big part of our personal brand on YouTube, so I'll give it 98% for, iconic, unique face. And tone of voice, because when you watch our videos, the voice matches the face. There's a vibe that goes along with that. So I'll give it a 97% because, of course, I don't want to give it the same grade as the face, but it is just as good, and the vibe is very good. Now, when it comes to hooks is the title and basically the thumbnail. So when it comes to that, our hooks are also very, very good. Our titles are also very, very good. She's been in this game for quite some years now, and I'm guessing that she's learned a lot of things when it comes to doing a YouTube video and doing content that grabs people's attention. So she's very good at that. So I give her a 95. However, that's where all the high scores stop, because when it comes to message, I'm going to drop it down to 45%. And the reason is because, for example, as you can see, I think I've only finished one of her videos before, and I know there are other people who finish videos like that, but the thing is, the message is not so strong with retention. It's not like the hook is good, the hook gets you to click and to start watching, but is the message strong enough for you to watch till the end? And that's what I mean by message. So I'll give the message a 45% because it's not that strong, even though some of the topics that she talks about is very important, and she actually gives a lot of important tips and teachings in our videos, but the message is not that strong. And when I mean a message, I mean the core message of the brand. The core message of the brand is not that strong, and we'll go into more details about that shortly. The CTA and opt-in, I'll give that even a lesser score, which is 39%. Now, for the CTA, she has a niche navigator guide. That's one. She has a procrastination thing, and she has an ADHD thing also, an opt-in for that. So those are the three opt-ins, three CTAs that I've seen from her. And as far as I'm concerned, I've never clicked or seen any reason to click any of that, and not just because it doesn't speak to me, but I feel that the offer is just so the offer is not as coherent as for example, what made me subscribe. So the offer is not as coherent and as strong as that even though I subscribed, I don't feel the need, or I don't feel the urge, or I don't even feel any sense of, let me see what's behind this thing. So when it comes to procrastination, it's not like I've not even seen any need for me to check out what's there. For the ADHD, I don't relate so much to that. And then for the niche navigation guide, I've not even bothered to check what's there. And while I feel that these things are important, and while I feel that they can be a very good CTA maybe for some other person, the core reason why someone will be following Ruri might not match up with any of these three CTAs, and that's why I give it 39%. So for example, the reason why I subscribed doesn't really get me to consider any of these three CTAs and three opt-ins. So that's why I give it 39%, and we're going to be talking about how to improve that. And the products and offers, now I'm pretty sure she has some, but I've not checked it out. I'm not on her email list, so I don't know whether she has an offer. So that's why I put any right there. I don't know what that looks like, but yeah, it should be a high converting offer, I hope. So that's that about the personal brand. So on the front end is extremely good, but when it comes to from messaging downward, it needs some work, and that's my opinion of it, especially when we're going in the life coaching direction. And I'm gonna give you a structure of how to think about this and how I would approach this if she were my client. So let's get into it. Now, there are two kinds of videos, and this is one of the first things I do is that I consider content before I give my verdict. I consider content of the particular client and see what's best performing, what people are more related to, and what people are finding more relatable, what people can feel themselves in, and what people want to see more of. And you get that from the kind of videos that she makes. So these are some of our best videos so far that I've seen. There's the language videos, which are like the most popular, but they've been quite some years in the past. And then there is other kinds of videos. If you look more recently, you would see that it's more in the line of business, in the line of YouTube growth, and also some motivational kind of videos. So those are like the videos that she's got. And also there you would notice that I noticed, for example, that even though language videos are best performing videos, at least in the last couple of years, she doesn't do those kinds of videos anymore, and she focuses on more on business content, more on motivating content right now, which is a very interesting thing, a very good thing, which means that she's grown, which is a good thing. However, there are other things to consider, in my opinion, that are intricate to this, that are connected to this. So these are the kind of videos that she does. I looked at all of some of her best videos, looked at all of them, and then want to compare which ones should be done more, which ones can you build a funnel behind, and which ones can you build a kind of coaching behind that's not going to be boring, that's going to have a high number of views, have big hooks, and can go ahead to be a kind of $1 million business, or 8-figure business or 9-figure business. So let's get into it right now. Now, if you look at all of our videos, like I looked into all of them. I've summarized all of our videos into 5 categories, which are the content categories, in my opinion. We have the language learning, and we have the ADHD content kind of videos. Then you have the motivation and personal stories kind of content. Then we have the YouTube growth kind of content. And we have the any money online kind of content. So these are like the broad 5 categories of content that she does for our YouTube channel, which is so interesting. Now, this is quite a range, and while it would need to narrow over time to be able to build a huge business behind it, but this is quite a range, and it gives us a lot of flexibility of something to choose from, something to pick from. Now, this is good to have the range initially so that you can know what works and do different kinds of content and do different kinds to see which one resonates more with the people that are gravitating towards you. So we'll take a look at that and the problems associated with that. So the problems associated with, for example, language learning is that it seems she has outgrown that. And in my opinion, that's what I think, because I don't think she's made a language video in the last 1 year or 2 years. It seems that she's outgrown that and saying that, okay, if I want to build a business behind it, I don't think I can build maybe a language learning business. And she wants to do a different kinds of business at the back of our YouTube channel, which is a very good idea, a very smart idea. So probably she's outgrown language learning. I don't know why, but that's something that is pretty obvious. Now, for ADHD, I'd say it's too fancy, and the reason is because ADHD is identifier, and people don't want to get rid of it. People want to be identified by it, and the thing is, do they really want help? And that's one of the questions you ask. Do they really want help? People with ADHD, do they really want help, or they just want to be I don't know. And I've not seen anybody really make a huge funnel, a huge deal out of people, out of ADHD content. There may be, but I've not just seen, and I don't think that it's going to be big enough, or it's going to play to Ruri's strength that much. Now, motivation and personal stories is very good. Like, our motivation and our personal stories is very good. It lines up with everything, and it's perfect. The only problem with that is there is no CTA. There's no strong CTA attached to it. So there's the ADHD CTA, there's the procrastination CTA, and then there's the niche guide CTA. So there is nothing that is really attached to the personal stories and motivation, which is something that I would leverage on more, because if it's life coaching, you have to focus more on personal stories and the motivational part. The YouTube growth, of course, on YouTube, content like that do very, very, very well. But the problem with that is that it's oversaturated. In my opinion, it's oversaturated. There are lots of people doing something like that. And while you want to hear the perspective of someone like Ruri on YouTube growth, the idea that people get in our funnel to grow their YouTube based on what she's done is a hard sell. It's plausible and it would work to a large extent, but the extent of taking it far, far, far beyond is something that I just feel like is too much of a hard sell, and it's oversaturated. There are lots of people doing that, and there are lots of incredible people who are doing great work who are doing that. Also, earning money online, which she has some incredible content about. Now, the problem with this earning money online is that it dies quickly. It dies quickly in the sense that, because if you build a funnel behind it, it won't be long before someone or some people get in and they don't get the result, because you have to promise a big promise, and which is most likely that, oh, you have to promise that people are going to make money, and then if they get into the program, they pay money, and then at the end of the program, or at the end of the course, they don't get to make that money. It becomes a bad rep for the creator. It becomes a bad rep for the coach. And just because you have a kind of result doesn't mean that you can teach people to get that kind of result. I learned that lesson a long while ago. There are lots and lots of factors that you cannot control when it comes to other people. So you can't say that they are going to get any kind of results when it comes to money, and money is very direct. It's either they get the result or they don't get the result. So if they don't get the results with money, and there will be people who would be like that, it's gonna just create some problems. You can, like, most of the people that I know that built a funnel behind earning money online, who's done it in the last, let's say, 10 years, excluding, let's say, the last 2-3 years, all of them have all gotten bad rep online. And so while it's good to make videos about that occasionally on YouTube, for example, building a funnel around that is actually very, very, very tricky, because you would have to give a big promise for people to come in. And the thing is, there will be lots of people who do not meet up with that when it comes to results, and there are going to be some of them that are going to be very salty about it, and who are going to write nasty things online, and that can even lead to some kind of lawsuits and things like that. Like, I've seen it get that bad for a few people. So I would say that's good, but it's short term. You can build something long term based on that, and also a lot of reputation is going to get soiled in the process. So I would avoid that line of building any people. So this is what I would recommend. Now, this is what I tell people who are my clients and people who I'm helping with this, is that when it comes to life coaching, you don't give a big promise. You don't help people get results. And this is very, very, very important, because you cannot guarantee that they will get the results. You can say that, oh, I promise that you get this result and all of that. But in the real sense of it, you can't promise that. You can promise that they can do exactly everything that you say, and they still do not get the results because of some reason that's totally out of their control, totally out of your control. Even it can be something in their control that they decided to neglect. So you cannot promise results when it comes to life coaching. You cannot promise results when it comes to online coaching. You can only, and this is the way I think about it, and this is the way I recommend, is that you help people overcome something. Help people overcome a problem. Now, when it comes to overcoming a problem, the difference is that when people make any kind of progress, it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling, and they will feel that it's worth it. So whenever people make progress, it's a good feeling. They feel it's worth it. They feel they are in a good place, and they feel encouraged to continue. That's compared to the fact that they want a big result. For example, if you say, oh, I promise that, the big promise is that they would be making, let's say, 100,000 a year, and then the year comes and then it goes, and then they are making less than 50,000. They feel bad about that. But if you promise that they are going to overcome something, and let's say they're just, after a year, they just made a 20% progress, that's they are going to feel happy about that, because they feel like they made progress, unlike the fact that you made a big promise and that didn't get anywhere. So if you're a life coach, or if you want to get in this line of business, focus on helping people overcome something. This is the life coaching formula. Help people overcome something. Do not, And I say, do not give any promise of results. Do not give any promise of outcome, because that is a setup. And if you do this for long enough, you will find out that that is going to get you in trouble. Now, you want to find something. This kind of thing is something that you can do into your for 20 years, for 30 years, for 50 years, for 70 years. And if you find out the people who have been doing this for years, people have been doing this for decades, they do not promise big results, they do not promise big outcomes. What they do is that they help people overcome something. And some of them who started out by promising big results, by promising big outcomes, if you notice, if they've been in this game for years, for decades, at some point they changed their promise, they changed their mission to helping people overcome something, because that is where the power is. That is what can be sustained. That is what really gives people the feeling of, yes, this is actually worth it. Now, I think Ruri has a kind of mission for herself, and I think I've heard it in one of her videos before, but it's so long and lengthy, I don't think I remember any words from it. But I would suggest that if you're my clients, I would suggest that our mission be, I help people overcome X. Now, the X is what we should find. Now, the reason why I say I help people overcome X is because she already has a big audience. Now, if I'm talking to someone who doesn't have a big audience yet, someone who is still small and upcoming, I would say something like, I help Y people overcome X, because I need you to define the exact kind of people that you want to help. That is, if you have a very, very small audience, if you are just starting out online. But because she's big already, we can generalize and we can go broad. And because she has 1.4 million subscribers and growing very fast, so we can say I help people overcome X. So X is what we need to look for, and that's what we're going to get into right away. Now, to find out what X is, we have to dig into our personality. We have to dig into what I call the personal stereotype. The personal stereotype. Now, this is some of our videos, and this is some of our thumbnails. And if you notice, our face is in every thumbnail that I showcased here. Now, the question now is the people who look like this in real life, because we have to dig into what makes her unique. We have to dig into what makes her different. So the question is, the people who look like this in real life, like, people who look like Ruri in real life. Now, what do you associate with them? What do you think about them? What is the stereotype that is associated with them? And this is one of the ways that I think about it, because our face is a big part of a brand. And for example, one of the reasons that I subscribe to a channel is because she's different from every other person that does that kind of content, and I find it very interesting that I had to subscribe to the channel. So the question is, when you look at this face, what do you see? What does that tell you? What is the information that you get from there? Now, forget about Ruri, forget about the person. Now think of, if I knew someone like this in real life, what do I think of them? What is the stereotype that is associated with this kind of person, with someone that looks like this? And what would I think of them? What's the assumption that I would have about them? Now, this is not really, because when people watch a video, when people see content, they see themselves, whether they like it or not. The brain likes to make these kind of associations. They see themselves in the person that is talking to them or that is speaking to them. So as our face is a big part of our brand, especially on YouTube, we have to really dig into that and to find out that who does this person appear to be? Who does this person appear to be? Now, if we look into that, my answers is, if I knew someone who looked like this. Now, we are not talking about Ruri specifically, but we're talking about if I knew someone who had this look, what would I instantly think? If I knew someone who is like this in real life, and this is not an internet personality, and what would I think? What would be my conclusion about that person without even talking to the person or learning anything about the person, just seeing the person? What are the stereotypes that come into my head? Because those things have been programmed into our heads, whether we like it or not. Now, my answer would be, I would think she's someone nervous, someone timid, shy, and lacking confidence. These are like the 4 words that easily come to me based on what I can see. This is someone nervous, this is someone shy, this is someone timid, this is someone lacking confidence. Now, that's not to say Ruri. That's just saying that if I know someone who looks like this in real life, what would I think of them without even talking to them or getting to know them? It's just stereotypes, and our brain likes to make that association. So seeing that, okay, I would think someone is nervous, I would think this person is timid, I would think this person is shy, I would think this person lacks confidence. And then the question now becomes, how come Ruri looks like this and she's doing YouTube videos? and she is confident. Like if you watch some of her videos, you would see that she has a high level confidence for someone, and she's not trying to, talk excitedly or anything like that. She's in her own vibe, she's in her own element, and talks in our own tone of voice, in our own style, in our own way, in our own unique way. And she's doing content, and she has over 1 million subscribers on YouTube. And the question arises, how come? How come? Because when you see someone like this in real life, you're expecting that, oh, this person is going to be timid, this person is going to be shy, this person is going to be camera shy, definitely, and lacking confidence in some way. But here is an anomaly, and I would say that it's a big part of what makes our unique, what makes our content unique on YouTube. Because when you see someone like that who looks like that and then is doing something like this, you kind of think in your head, maybe not consciously, but subconsciously, you'll be thinking, how come you look like this and you are bold enough to do something like this? You have the confidence to do it. So I think that is the big question that anybody who sees Ruri would have in their mind. So the question is, how come you're able to do all of these things if you kind of look like this? And when I say look, I don't mean that, oh, this look is bad or this look is good. I mean that it's just a stereotype that we are accustomed to, that these kinds of people maybe do not want to be seen, they don't want to be known, and they don't want to maybe speak to people. They probably have maybe a kind of social anxiety and they don't want to communicate with people. But look at this person who has 1 million subscribers on YouTube and has no problems making videos, new videos on YouTube. So the question is, how did you get there? Or what are the wrong assumptions I'm making about your personality based on your expression and based on your face? So how come? And that's the question I'm going to ask. So these examples, for example, the nervous, the timid, the shy, the lacking confidence, are examples of X that she could have to a personal brand, and helping people overcome that. Because anybody who watches Ruri would instantly see anybody who looks like this in real life and probably has maybe some kind of social anxiety, has some kind of nervousness and timidity, and sees someone like Ruri on YouTube making videos comfortably, they are most likely would be stunned and surprised to see that there is someone like them who looks like them, who should have the same problems that they have but doesn't. And that gets anybody's attention, especially for people who have that kind of, or who see themselves that way. So they don't have to really look that way physically, but they have to see themselves that way. As long as they see a portion of themselves in Ruri, they are going to get curious about that. So that's an important point. But if we say we help people overcome nervousness, it's not so strong. Help people overcome timidity, it's not so strong. What we're looking for is something that is strong, something that is fundamental, something that is very, very solid. And the answer I come to is the fear of standing out. So think about these for Ruri, for example, just as an example, is I help people overcome the fear of standing out. And if you really think about it, it matches our personal brand a lot, helping people overcome the fear of standing out. And this is what I would call X. And I would strongly recommend, if she wants to go in the direction of life coaching, this is a very, very, very strong theme or mission that she could have, and could build a funnel behind it, could build a business behind it, can build an 8-figure business behind it. And more importantly, she can do it into her 70s, her 80s and 90s, and it is going to keep converting, and it's going to just continue to be successful, and it won't die out, it won't dry out, and she won't run into any serious problems with that. And so you can put this in any context of the content that she has made and she's been making, and you can put that mission behind it, because your mission is something that is connected to something you already do, and then that would also mean that will also be connected to the future content. So the fear of standing out, for example, on the YouTube thing, is you can say Ruri is successful on YouTube because she overcame the fear of standing out. And it's so easy. For example, if you look at our profile picture right there, it doesn't look like someone who should have a lot of confidence, but she does, and she has 1.4 million subscribers, which is something that would get anybody's attention. Now, it got my attention. I can remember, I think the first time I saw that she had 1.4 million, I was stunned. I was surprised, like, how come? And so I think that is a very, very big strength. So you can say really successful on YouTube because she overcame the fear of standing out. And we can go one step from that further and say, our message could be just based around the fact that what is really holding you back is the fear of standing out. So it doesn't matter whether it's for doing a YouTube, whether it's for earning money online, it's for whatever it is, that all the content that she's doing, the main thing that's holding people back, at least from our point of view, from our perspective, people that are gravitating towards her, would be the fear of standing out. So stop waiting. this is an example of just one of our thumbnails. We'd say stop waiting. The question is, why are you waiting? The reason why you are waiting is because you are afraid of standing out. So it says stop waiting, but the real thing is the wait is not the problem. Behind the wait, the foundation of the wait is the fear of standing out. Take the risk. Why is it that you have not taken the risk? Why are you hesitant? You are hesitant because of the fear of standing out. As you can see, we can play this on almost all of our content, and you will see that is kind of the underlying backdrop that you can see that resonates and makes a lot of sense to a lot of people. So if I were Ruri, for example, and I was watching this, I would experiment with this. I would try this. Even if I don't want to go in this direction, I would just try it for the fun of it and see how it goes. So here's some content ideas that have the backdrop of the fear of missing, the fear of standing out, and it has that backdrop in it, but does not directly say that, oh, okay, this is the fear of standing out. It's just something that would be a recurring message and in the downlines, and would be a big part in the CTA. But the content that were based on that would be slightly different and slightly unique. So I gave an example of content ideas, YouTube ideas that have that core message in the background, in the base of it, which is the fear of standing out. So for example, I bought a pretty dress but couldn't wear it. Why is it that you can't wear it? What's stopping you? The fear of standing out. It's too pretty. You wear it outside and people start giving you glances and looks and stuff like that. You maybe are conscious of that. The fear of standing out is behind that. So you can wear it because you don't want to stand out. And there are lots of people who can relate to this, which is also a very important point. Another one is I kept pretending I was earning half my income. Why? Because you are afraid of standing out. That's another point. Very, very, very strong. Fear of standing out. You're pretending you're earning half your income, maybe to fit in with friends or things like that. Another one is I'm still shocked. Now, these are just ideas, and these are just to get in the frame of the kind of content that would perform well. I'm not saying that these are the kind of content that she must do. It's just to get the creative juices flowing. So this one is I'm still shocked someone recognized me at the airport, meaning that you actually don't fully get over the fear of standing out, and sometimes it still appears as a shock, which is going to be relatable to a lot of people. That's another one. Another one is are you a goth girl? My honest answer, and this is just me, by the way. Now, if you're familiar with the anime kind of world, you would know what goth is. And one of my first instincts when I saw some of the thumbnails was like, okay, this looks goth or something. And I'm surprised that there's no content that made to that effect. And I think it will be pretty interesting. I think it will have a lot of views. Just my opinion, I would say try. Another one is when the men don't let you speak. Oh, this is going to perform a lot well, especially among ladies. When the men don't let you speak, lots of women can relate to that, who have the fear of standing out, and then maybe they're in a meeting, they're in a group and things like that. Maybe people are making decisions for them, and because of the fear of standing out, they don't really want to stand out. They don't really want to maybe correct someone publicly and things like that. And she can make a content about that, and and it's going to perform extremely well. And of course, she can also build that into the YouTube growth videos. Overcoming this fear led to 1 million subscribers or something like that. And then, this is another one that is also empowering, especially for women, for ladies, which is sometimes I pretend I care what people say, which is a very interesting title that I think that would perform well, and also builds into, that the fear of standing out. It builds into that message of helping people overcome the fear of standing out. And those are the content ideas. Now for the CTA, because for the CTA for this, you cannot say you want to sell a guide, or you want to do an ebook, or you want to even do a course. You can't do a course for the fear of standing out. That's almost impossible to sell. It's a very, very hard sell. Like people won't think that, oh, when they take a course, their fear of standing out is gonna go away. It's probably not possible. So the CTA that is in line with this would be a kind of 5-day challenge. A kind of 5-day challenge that people can sign up for. It could be free and it could be very cheap. It could be something ridiculous like maybe $1 or something. So it's a 5-day challenge, and the 5-day challenge is just maybe in a kind of community setup, maybe online community setup. It could be Facebook, it could be any of these community platforms. But the idea of the community is just to get people in it to partake in this 5-day challenge. And the 5-day challenge is just going to be filled with, let's say, a couple of motivational videos for maybe preceding to the exact 5 days of the challenge. And then on the 5 days of the challenge, what Ruri is probably going to do is just to challenge people to do one thing per day that's standing out. So it could be like, okay, the challenge for today is you have to talk to a stranger, or you have to go take a selfie with a stranger, maybe on the streets, outdoors, or something like that. And it should just be challenging for people who have that fear. Something really small, something really that people can partake in and feel like, oh, okay, I'm making some progress with this or something like that. So a 5 day challenge is going to be a very, very great opt-in. It's going to be a very, very great CTA for something like the mission that we have just uncovered. And then from the 5 day challenge, we can go to an offer, which is like a 6 week sprint, and which can be like an online class, which she can do for 6 weeks. And by the way, whenever you're doing a life coaching offer, don't do any forever offers. Like, always make it have a definite end, so that when people get to a particular end, they can choose to renew, or they can choose to, oh, maybe they want to leave or something like that. Always give people that option, because I find out that it's good, because you want to always have recurring clients. You don't want people who just go with you for a while and just get totally burned out. You want to keep it fresh. So that's important. So 6 weeks online course, probably not online course, sorry, online class. Okay, not course. 6 week online class. So it could be just on Zoom, and the entire setup might just be people who will come in, and then who will have, let's say, 5 to 10 minutes to make a presentation on whatever, and then just get people to be camera confident. That can be something that can be built into the 6 weeks. So camera confident, and then you can learn to be camera confident in a safe space, which is this 6 weeks program that she can organize online, and give people the opportunity to just present and be camera confident, and in this safe space that she creates for them in the span of 6 weeks, which is kind of cool. And then from there, she can have an high-ticket offer of a 12-week one-on-one coaching. Maybe there are some people, of course, who would see the 6 week and be like, I'm still scared. There are other people that are going to be watching, and I have the money to spend more on this. So there can be a kind of 12-week coaching that's one-on-one to help people like that. And it's going to be 12 weeks. After the 12 weeks, if they want to renew, or if really wants to continue, based on several factors, there are ways to handle that and ways to do that. And then finally, she can have another high-ticket offer, which is a live event and experience, which is very, very huge, by the way. So this can be done on two different levels. It can be done on the high ticket level, and it can be done on the mid ticket level. So this can be also done on the, let's say, the 200 to 500 US dollar level, and just have an event, and have an event that people can come to. But that will be dependent on location. That has to be a location where she has a lot of following. It could also be an high-ticket event, and make it like a 3-day event, and take a big hotel or something like that, and just fill the place out for 3 days, and just have a very nice event created for that particular purpose. And if the fan base is big enough, if the audience is big enough, it's gonna be an awesome meeting. If you do that, let's say once or twice a year, and it's a very huge ticket, and do it in, let's say, 3 cities around the world, or maybe even more, that would be huge. And a new entire business model can actually be built based on that, because now you're getting people to come to an hotel, they're going to spend in the hotel and things like that, and all of that stuff that is going to be attached. And so there are so many possibilities that is built into this little thing called the simple mission that we've uncovered right now, which is helping people get over, or helping people overcome the fear of standing out. So this is how I would do it if she really were my client, and this is how I will approach it if you also come to me for consultation. So I hope that is helpful. Like and subscribe if it is, and if you have any questions, drop it in the comments. Thank you for watching.